Hey there! In this video, we'll be covering systematic random sampling in Excel. For this method, we require four main tools, namely the round function, the random number generator tool, the mod function, and the sort function. For this task, we'll be using the Pelican Stores dataset, which has a total of 124 elements, for which we want to select a sample of 30. To get our K ratio, we get the quotient between our population size and our sample size. K is a whole number, so we need to round it off. In order to do this, we use the round function, which has a list of two parameters. The first parameter corresponds with the number that we want to round, and the second parameter corresponds with the number of decimal positions that we want to round off to. Since we are working with whole numbers, we want 0 decimal positions, so that's what we specify in the second parameter. Once we have the value of k, we can use this to get a random starting point in the range between 1 to k. K is given as 4 here, so we are looking for a random starting position between 1 and k. To do this, we use the random number generator dialog box under the data analysis tab. Once we've navigated there, we can specify our options. The first option is the number of variables we want. The second option is the number of random numbers, both which we specify as 1. The distribution that we are using is the uniform distribution, and the parameters for this distribution will be 1 and k. K was given as 4 here, so that's the value that we use for the upper bound. The random seed I specified there is quadruple 7, and my output range where I want my random number to appear is cell N6. So once I've entered in all that, I can click on OK. And since my random starting position is an index of the first element that I want to select, I need to round this off to a whole number. I can again use the round function to achieve this task by specifying the number that was generated in the first parameter and 0 as my number of digits. So once I've done that, I have everything I need for the next few steps. So I number my population elements from 1 to 124. And since I want a random starting point at the position 3, I want the index of 0 to correspond with that. So I do this by taking the difference between my element number and my random starting position there, which I fix as an absolute reference since I am referencing it each time. After I've entered in my formula, I can then copy it down into the rest of my cell entries. For the next step, we need to use the mod function. The mod function returns the remainder of a number and its divisor. So the number for which we want the remainder of is the shifted index. So I click on that cell reference. The divisor is the value of k, which I fix as an absolute reference. And once I've done that, I can click on enter and copy down my formula. What we expect this function to do is give zeros at the positions that correspond with the elements we want to select. The first 0 should be at the position of 3, which is the value that we're starting at. The next 0 should be at k jumps after that value. So k in this case is 4, so after each 4 value, we should see a 0. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. So the next thing we do is sort by the smart column. To do that, we use the sort tool, which is under the data analysis tool, the tab. We click on the sort icon, then we sort by the smart column. Then what we'll see that it does is that it groups all the zeros together. So to get the elements that correspond with the sample that we want to select, you can just highlight the elements that correspond with the 0. Then to actually check that it did what we expected to do, let's sort it back into its original positions. So what we see here that it does start with the third element and jumps in intervals of 4 to select the next few. Okay guys, that concludes this video.